Everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. So this is the second video. I am super excited to be chatting about this because it is something that God helped me navigate. I love God, okay? Without God, I'm nothing. I don't have strategy, I don't have wisdom, I don't have clarity, I don't have purpose. I'm just floating in the air. So what happened with this girl, I failed my first year, right? And I'm here to now share how do you pivot from that and still position yourself strategically to be in the kind of organizations that you want to be in, right? The kind of big corporate organizations that you want to be in, because now you failed. That's what happened with me. I failed my first year, three major modules, and the university was like, nope, you're not ready to proceed to your second year of study. I was devastated, but you know what? I'm grateful that happened. So when I came back home, my parents were disappointed. My dad didn't understand it because he's always told me, school, books, knowledge, focus. He's always been that person, right? So he didn't understand. It's like, okay, so what are you consuming that's distracting you, you know? And my mom was just confused as well. Like, oh my goodness, I've always thought you were a disciplined person. I mean, you went through high school seamlessly. You always avoided peer pressure. And all of a sudden, this is you? It's like, okay, cool, guys. I'm a disappointment. I'm sorry, right? I lost my scholarship. Oh my goodness. I can't believe how disappointed I was in myself. But I had to do the things that I'm about to mention to you right now in this video in order for me to pivot and still believe that I have a future, I have potential in the world, I can still do things, right? God still has a purpose for me. So one of the things that I focused on, which I feel distracts most people, the wrong relationships. I can't emphasize how much dating the wrong person can derail you. I dated someone who didn't love me, who confused me, who was still very much figuring out the identity. 1 second they're Christian, 1 second they're atheist, 1 second they're in love with you, 1 second they're in love with someone else, 1 second. Just engaging yourself in a relationship with a confused person can derail your life and confuse you and lead you to a pit of depression you've never imagined for yourself. So that's what happened with my first year. I dated the wrong person. Oh my goodness, I can't believe how consuming and emotionally destructive the kind of the wrong relationship is, and how much it affects your quality of life, your productivity, and just how you function as a person. So most of the time I was just crying and healing. I was always praying for healing. Lord, heal me. Lord, help me. The healing was in leaving the person, but no, I didn't want to leave the person. So that obviously led to certain results. And something that Brian Tracy also talks about is that most of the people who are able to attain success are people who focus on things that have high consequences, and failure is a result on focusing on things that have low consequences. Me not having a relationship in my first year has low consequences. It won't affect my ability to pivot or navigate the corporate space eventually, right? Or position myself favorably for opportunities. But what matters, I didn't focus on that. And I took full responsibility for that. I was like, okay, Lord, this is what I did. And I sat down with the Father and I made a plan. So that's one of the things I'd suggest for you to do, is to get into your prayer space, pray, cry as much as you need to, and just know that God is very solution oriented. He's very graceful. He's very understanding. He knows what you did not know and what you knew, whether you did those things ignorantly. You know, if you had someone prior to going into high school telling you that, hey, varsity is demanding, focus on these things, focus on that, do this, do that, I'm here, I'm your support, I'm your mentor, then obviously, I mean, there's a different expectation from someone who has a background like that. Whereas when you're just going out and like, yay, you know, and you're coming from a Black family that probably isn't that educated, that doesn't know about the pressures that a person can face in university. For them, it's just about results. But they don't understand that there's an environment and there's a mindset that produces results. So they can't equip you. You're ill-equipped. God is able to be graceful around those things and help you. He is such a helper. So for me, once I sat down in my prayer space, These are the things that I learned that worked, that led me in an asset management company that I wanted to work for. Oh my goodness, I was a diehard for that company. So I was obsessed with it. I wanted to work there. I was very clear. I was like, this is the company I want to work for. So every time my mentor asks me, she's like, where do you want to go? I'm like, that's where I want to go. That's where I see myself. I love their values. I love the people. I've interacted with the people there. And oh my goodness, I see myself doing that kind of work. So forgive yourself. That's number one. Forgive yourself. If you knew better, you'd have done better, right? Reflect from an objective perspective. Because if you're reflecting from a place of self-hatred and regret, you won't be productive. Reflect from an objective perspective where you're able to look at things. Brian Tracy does this exercise. Knowing what I know now, would I make the same decision? Knowing what I knew then about the kind of partner I'd chosen for myself, would I still choose him? Going into the new academic year, that had to go. I had to cut him off. Right? Knowing what I know now, would I still spend most of my time with people that don't want to graduate on time or people who don't prioritize their education? No. And you just, sometimes you can't cut people off because obviously you're interacting with people, you within uni, you networking, but there's a certain kind of discipline you need to have where you're just like, I'm not going to listen to this, I'm not going to listen to that. God and I have spoken, we have a vision. We are pivoting from this point. We are moving forward. So reflect honestly about the kind of things that you invest your time and energy and focus into. And knowing what you know now, would you still make those kind of investments? Sit down honestly with a journal and a pen, write it out. I'm a firm believer of writing things out. Reflecting on paper holds you accountable, right? And it helps you look back and help someone else. And secondly, get a year calendar. That's the most practical thing you can do. Get a year calendar, get stationery, get excited about your degree. That's what I did. My first year of study, I was just floating. Once I had to do it all over again, I got stationery. I was like, I'm a student. I'm going to act like a student. Get a year calendar, right? Once you get your course outlines, sit with your course outlines, write out the important dates. Okay, in March, I'm writing my first test in business statistics or whatever module you're doing at the time. Okay, cool. How much preparation does this need? Get a year calendar. Get a map of how your year looks like. That's what a year calendar does. It gives you a map of what your year is going to look like, right? And write down important dates. I've already mentioned that. Number 3, get yourself a mentor. You know what a mentor does? They demystify the ideas you have about life and what it's going to take to build the kind of career you want for yourself. As a person who's in business, I get business mentors who are successful. Because why? I'm trying to build a successful business. I'm not going to get a mentor who's not successful in the thing that I want to do. So what I do, get a success. We already spoke about getting a mentor who will demystify ideas. You're surrounded by your peers who don't know what the hell lies ahead. So what you guys are telling each other are lies. Oh, cost Charles. Oh, this degree has no value. Degrees are your social currency. The moment you walk into a room and say, oh, okay, my name is this person and I studied A, B, and C in this institution, or hey, my name is so-and-so, I studied A, B, and C and got 100% in this module. Oh my goodness, that is valuable. You're the kind of person that's able to do work and outperform most people. Oh my goodness, I want to work with you. I want to network with you, right? Human beings are like that, unfortunately. It's social currency, right? It's what Mac J speaks about in this book. The defining decade. No one talks to us about this, but we're going to talk about this book at some point, right? Get yourself a mentor who'll demystify your ideas, the ideas that you have about corporate, about your career, about your degree. Your peers have nothing to give you. Nothing. They're not where you want to be. Number 4, position yourself in impact-oriented organizations, right? That's what I did. I got into the SRC. I got into SEBS. You're the kind of person that's able to involve themselves in other people, in achieving an objective. The objective the organization has, you are involved. Position yourself. And when I say position yourself, I don't mean just go there to collect things that you can put on your CV. position yourself in a way that you're also creating impact. You leave a mark in that organization. After I graduated and got into corporate, Wits SRC was still calling me because I always showed up for hearings. I always made sure that I gave quality. I always showed up prepared. I always showed up looking good. That's quality, right? My mentor and I, in the kind of organization that he ran, the Fin Forum, he still runs till this day. When he wanted results about impacting people with using that organization, he needed reach. He couldn't get students to be interested in the kind of work he was putting out, and he's meticulous in his work. So I knew that, I'm great at networking. I'm great at selling. I took that and I served it, and it gave him results. So when you get into those impact-oriented organizations, aim for impact as well. Aim to be different. Aim to have a good referral letter for someone to vouch for you, to say, oh my goodness, that girl is brilliant. So you're going to position yourself, you're going to dust yourself off, you're going to look at your academic transcript honestly and obviously take stock of what's not working, what's working, because that's what happens in the real world, right? Businesses don't just become successful because they're always focusing on the right things. No, sometimes they launch wrong products, wrong services, they hire the wrong people. But you know what they're able to do? They're able to take honest feedback, look at it, and change direction, right? The success of anything is determined by that, the ability to look at feedback. Okay, cool. What's working? What's not working? Do we need to strategize differently? Do we need to let go of the whole thing, cut our losses? What's going on here, right? So yes, position yourself in impact-oriented organizations. Build relationships with lecturers and tutors. The lecturer is your knowledge hub. They're able to close gaps that you don't know. And the most beautiful relationship you can build with your lecturer is when you are able to show an interest in what they're trying to teach you. Pre-read, right? Pre-read before class. Be interested, be present in your lectures, even if you're not the kind of person that's able to raise. I was never the kind of person who raises their hand in a lecture room and yada, yada, yada. I used to visit lecturers after class. I used to sit with them afterwards, tell them that, oh my goodness, I don't understand this. Visit, schedule appointments, go into their office, tell them to help you. I was that student. I wasn't the kind of student who was loud and bold, and I wasn't that person. So build the relationship with that. They know your face. They know the student number. When they're marking your paper, they're interested, right? Once I had to go do my modules again, my accounting lecturer wished me luck before my exam because he knew me. He looked at me and was like, oh, you're going to kill this, because he already knew my potential. He knew the kind of questions I was asking. I had a relationship with him, and that's exciting. Imagine how beautiful it is before writing your test, your exam. And someone is like, hey, dude, I believe in you. You're going to kill this. I know your potential. Get those kind of voices around you, right? Same with your tutors. Be interested. Do your TADs and show up for your tutorials fully. Don't do things half-heartedly. It's not going to work. It just doesn't work. Unfortunately, there are no results with that. Jesus always says, when they persecuted him, accused him of having demons, and they're like, do demons produce these kind of results? Do they produce healing for people? Do they save people? He always focused on results, and that teaches us as his disciples what's effective, what's not effective. What's effective? Yes, you fell, but now we need to move forward. We need to adult, right? The sixth thing that you can do, build relationships with people in the organizations you're interested in. Do coffee and be inquisitive, right? Always have a teachable, humble, and curious mind. When you go there, be a child. Have quality questions prepared. Look good, right? When my mentors meet up with me, I always look good. I always look presentable. I always make sure that I have my best foot forward. I don't go there looking like, it's casual, I'm meeting a friend. No, this is my future. And I prepare quality questions. You take someone's time seriously. You ask to meet them and they agree. You prepare quality questions. And you sit and you're curious about their success in their organization. How did they make it? What would they tell their younger selves? Everyone is interested in sharing their story because people have stories, and it's not always the stories that are on billboards, in magazines, on Forbes. It's people's everyday stories who've been able to pivot from difficult backgrounds, from difficult situations, and they want to be heard. Always be interested in a person's story. Oh my goodness, what, you did that. Build that relationship. And now they know that, oh, this person is actually so interesting. They're so interested in me. Few people in this world listen. If you go in with that ability to organize quality questions, and you are attentive and you listen and you take one thing and you apply it. Take one thing that person taught you and you apply it, and go back to them and say, oh my goodness, you helped me. What does that display? The ability to listen and execute, and you're very humble. The moment you're like, oh my goodness, I'm interested in your company, you know what they're going to do? They're going to vouch for you because they know you. Those are things you can do. Those are things that God taught me. Right? My journey looked different. I did all of these things, though. I just extracted principles. Instead of sitting here and telling my whole story, I think it's just better to give you tools. Just do one thing. Do 1, 2, 3 things and see. Stop sitting with people that don't believe in what you're doing. Even if you're building a company, if people are sitting there, oh, the economy, people who've never run businesses, right? Now you're sitting with people who are on the journey to obtain degrees. They don't have the success. They're not holding it here. They don't know the impact that thing has, but they're able to tell you that it can't work. You're listening to the wrong voices. Wrong voices. Get the right voices around you and pivot. All the best. All the best. I hope this helped. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am looking forward to the next video. I'm excited to be doing this. Bye.